talk to people. You never know. Networking can go so far, and that will help you so much.
How important is constant training and coaching for an actor?
They wake up thinking about it. Do they go to sleep thinking about it? Do they breathe thinking about it?
What has been the most rewarding part of creating your own business? Welcome to Creating with Purpose. Today we have a very special guest, Jordan. Thank you so much for coming. So Jordan is an actor, a writer. You have also done coaching.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming here. I saw that you started acting when you were 15 years old. You were a teenager.
Yes.
How was it like to start at that age?
I feel like I should have started sooner because I really got into it when I was in that kind of gray area, and every actor knows that like ages 14 to 16, those are very hard years to book because you're too young to do the mature kind of teenage roles, but then you're too old to do the like the kid roles and everything. So it's a really weird area, but I trained at 15. That's when I started, and then for 1 year, I did a few levels of the classes at the academy, got my agent, and then I did another year with them. But yeah, so I got out of that when I was 17, and then I only really ever started booking when I was 18. But yeah, you know what? I it's better to start as early as possible.
Yeah.
know?
How did you start it? Like,
It's funny because nobody I know is an actor in my family. No way. I don't come from a family of actors. My brother's an engineer, parents are teachers. Um, so I don't know. I always loved movies as a kid, and I always had that like wonder. Stepping out of the theater, I just watched like Avengers. I want to be a superhero, right? So I'm like, how do I be a superhero? I can't have powers. I could play one in a movie. So that kind of sparked that. So I guess I'm like, hey mom, I think I want to be an actor. And she's like, okay. So we kind of did the whole researching process together. It was kind of fun. We both dived into it a little bit. And lucky enough, somebody I knew had done the acting classes. So she referred me to the academy. So it was really, if I didn't know the person that knew that, probably would have been a lot harder.
how important is the support of family, like for example, your mom, when you're starting as a teenager?
Oh my God. It's so good to have. I'm very lucky because my parents are very, very supportive. I mean, it's very hard to put your kid through 2 years of college for acting, right? And they wouldn't have done it if they didn't believe in me. If they weren't, if they didn't, they knew that's what I wanted to do, and they want me to do what I want, and they fully support that. But I know so many people that are close to me whose parents don't support it, and they're just like, "Why don't you go get a job that pays well?" And then it really hurts them, and then they lose their lack of self-esteem,
Yeah.
and then they lose their lack of drive. They're like, I don't want to be an actor. I don't want to be an actor because my parents said this, and it's very detrimental to them. So I am very, very lucky that my parents are supportive because it helps with everything.
What advice would you give to a 15-year-old kid who wants to start?
Yeah. Don't rush the process. Don't think you can just get an agent tomorrow. Um, do the work if you really, really want it. Take the time to go out, do the classes, do some local independent films, student films, talk to people. Talk to people. You never know. Networking can go so far, and that will help you so much. Talk to every single person that can help you. And really watch people whenever you're out in public. If you're on the bus, watch people. Watch how they move. Watch how their mannerisms are. Watch how they act. Because that's all acting is. It's you becoming another person. So you gotta get to know people. That's what I would probably say.
Okay, now moving to your acting and coaching career, why did you start coaching?
Yeah, so I always had the idea to become a coach, I guess. Like, I guess actually probably a year ago, around now, when I came out of first year of college, And I'm like, yeah, I want to do acting coaching because I want all my income to be through acting, whether that's the jobs I do or through acting my own personal business that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do. So I'm like, I want to coach people because I've been coached for 2 years in the academy and now 2 years at Humber College, and or it's called Humber Polytechnic now. I don't know, but so I'm like, I can coach people because I've been coached. I see how coaches talk to me. So I'm like, how do I do that? So I made a website with Ansh, the director of Acre Fall, because he's helped me out with so much. He's my editor. I actually had to get my demo reel updated the other day, so I sent him a text saying, "Hey, can you like Photoshop this and do it?" He's like, he's on it immediately. Great guy. Again, connections. They go so far. But where was I going with that? Where's it going? Oh no, I lost my train of thought. Oh god.
I started
Oh
coaching.
yes, he made me my website, and I started promoting that. But I only really started coaching when I got a DM on Instagram from a person in India, a teenager in India, saying, "Hey Jordan, I saw you went to this academy. Would you recommend that academy?" I'm like, absolutely, I would recommend that academy. Their teachers are great, yada yada yada. I got an agent out of it. What are you trying to do? He's like, well, I'm just trying to get into schools like post-secondary for acting. I'm like, oh, if you're trying to go into post-secondary, then maybe your goal isn't to get an agent. Maybe you just want to and learn the fundamentals and the basics so that you can do a good audition to get into the school. So I'm like, listen, here's what I can do. You're in India, so it'll be very hard to afford the cost that it would be for the academy, because they pay so much. Like I charged $45 for a session for 1 hour. That must have been like 1,300 their currency, right? So insane. So I'm like, listen, I'll do coaching. I do coaching for this price. This is what I do. I can get you here. And sure enough, he's like, okay, let's do it. So I worked with him, a few times, and kind of walked him through it. And next thing you know, he got into 4 different colleges in America. So he's going there. So I'm very, very proud of him for that. Very, very good.
How important is constant training and coaching for an actor?
It is super, super important. Like even if you are Timothy Chalamet, or you are even just like you're a working actor, you're doing well, you're not in school anymore, it's still very, very good because you got to keep your creative mind fresh.
Yeah.
You have to keep it fresh because without creativity, there's no imagination. Without any imagination, you're not an actor, right? So I think it's very, very important because I feel like when people are like, okay, I got my agent, I don't need classes anymore. I'm just gonna go do auditions. Okay, you might get an audition once every month, right? What are you gonna do in all those 3 weeks? You're gonna play video games, I don't know, drink with your friends. You got to keep the creative mind fresh, whether that's writing, taking classes, really good, because I feel you can fall into the ego. An actor, there are egos when you have an actor, and you can fall into that ego, right? So you can say, oh, you know what? I have an agent. I'm getting auditions. I don't need to do this. I think I'm the best. I just went through 4 years of training. I don't need any more coaching. But then, whereas you get on set and you're just boring. You're just boring to watch because you lost it. So having actual professional mentorship, even when you're doing the work still, super, super important. You can still discover, and as an actor, you should always be learning and making discoveries. Yeah. That's what I love about the craft. You never stop learning.
Wow, that's so true. You started this business with a friend. So I just want to know, how did you know that this friend was the right one to start this business with?
Yes, I assume you're talking about Leo.
Yeah.
Leo, the director of 48 Fear. Yes, you've worked with Leo, so you know him quite well. He's a very ambitious guy. I was on the phone with him over here because I had an idea. I don't want to say the idea, but I had an idea, so I called him on the way over here and we talked a little bit. So basically, the way it worked was, it was my idea to do the business, and we have 3 services. There's acting coaching, headshots, and demo reels. I can do the acting coaching. Leo is a filmmaker. He can't touch acting, never done it in his life. But he knows how to work a camera. So we partnered together. So basically, it was my idea. And I'm like, Leo, we talked a lot last summer. He's like, I would absolutely love to come aboard. So we did. And so kind of whenever we need, headshots are our biggest seller. Okay. So he and I are always splitting the pay for that. You know, we're always working together on that. But I knew he was the right one because I met him day one of college in res, and that's where we met our whole friend group, and we all bonded. We all clicked like that. It was really, really funny. But getting to know him, he had so many ideas, and he was very, very creative, and he had all these ideas. And I was an actor with no experience, and I just wanted to be in something. So I would say, hey, I remember I first met him. He's like, I have this idea for like this cowboy western short film. And I wrote it. I started writing it. I started location scouting. I'm like, wow, great. And, you know, I'm trying to network. So I'm like, tell me what it's about. Tell me everything. So for like a half an hour, he's walking me through the plot and the characters. And I'm trying to weasel my way into getting a role. And then at the end, he's like, so who do you want to play? I'm like, okay, hell yeah. So let's do it. So I don't know. Ever since then, I'm kind of like, we have to make this film. And I've seen the way he works. I mean, he's very ambitious, very impulsive, which is like me, which is really, really good for some things. But no, we keep each other level, and I think we're like literally best friends. So I'm like, if there's anybody to go into business with, why don't I try my film buddy? Why don't we see where that kind of goes?
What qualities do you look in someone that you work with?
Do they have a drive? Like, are they as passionate as I am? Because you have to be passionate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are they constantly thinking about where they want to go? I have my goals for where I want to be as an actor, right? Maybe this year I want to join the union and start doing recurring roles in TV series. Maybe that's my goal. I'm always thinking about that every single day. I wake up thinking about that. Does the other person I'm in business with, do they have the same thing? Do they wake up thinking about it? Do they go to sleep thinking about it? Do they breathe thinking about it? That's absolutely important because I technically started the business myself. It was just my idea, and I brought him on. But I'm like, here's what I want. I have this goal. I want to do this for Dream to Screen. I want to do this. I want to make a commercial like this. I want him to be thinking that too. Okay, yes, I like that idea. I was thinking, maybe, and he's like, Jordan, I actually was thinking about that. Now that you bring that up, I was thinking about this. Maybe we can even do that. Maybe we can do that. I want them to be able to treat the business like they also made it. Even though they might not have founded it, I want them to treat it like they made it. You know, it's like their baby.
How has been the marketing part of the business, like supporting it? And
yeah, I run the social media for it. And so basically whenever we're doing headshots, I'm there behind Leo doing the whole thing. Ask the client, hey, is it okay if I take a video for the Instagram? They consent to it. So I take a video, I post it. I don't know. It's been quite hard. It's been because I've also been in school at the time. I've also been doing my own work, trying to manage my own Instagram. But the way I kind of went about it, the way I'm still going about it is quantity over quality. Yeah. I still want quality, but I'll like post whenever I can. Whenever there's an opportunity to post on it, I will. It's like a spam account.
Yeah.
But as long as it's like doing that. But the page is quite organized. I like to do that. In terms of the ads, the most recent one that we've been like boosting, because you can boost posts, do ads. I made it myself, literally in iMovie, because I threw it to Leo. Leo was too busy to edit it, because he's also good at editing. He does everything. I'm like, Leo, can you edit this? And I send him references. Say, Leo, I came across an ad for an acting coach today. Can you make an ad similar to that, but for us? He's like, sure, I'll get on it. Takes too long. I asked my other editor. He takes too long. So I just made it myself in iMovie in like 2 hours. And I'm very, very proud of it. But so I've been kind of doing a lot on the social media, and that it's really time consuming. But what's really good about the ads is that we get a lot of traction.
yeah.
And I've been reaching out to more people on it. So yeah, it's pretty hard to market. But I like I was telling you, I had an idea in the car when I was over talking to Leo. And I think it's a really good thing that I can market off of. After the cameras roll, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, okay.
It's really, really fun.
What has been the most rewarding part of creating your own business?
Um, I mean, obviously, I think the most thing that I'm most proud of is getting that client from India, no acting experience, all the way around the world, you know, connecting through Zoom to do acting coaching and getting him into 4 schools. I think I'm really proud of that. And that was really rewarding to me. But I think what was most rewarding was getting that first payment in. Him sending me, thank you for the class. Here's the money. And getting paid for something that I started is really, really rewarding because it gives me hope that maybe I can do this full time and down the line. It's like being an actor. I remember I was young. I was 16 or 17 when I signed with my agent, so my mom was there because I was a minor. And the only experience I've had was doing classes. And I remember I signed with the agent and I was in the car and we were driving home. And I said to my mom, so Mom, I have an agent now. She said, yeah. I'm like, am I an actor now? She's like, no, you're not an actor until you get paid for it. So for like an entire year, because I didn't book for a whole year, my first year. So until then, I never called myself an actor. And then I finally got that paycheck. And I remember I called my mom and she's like, Angel, you're an actor now. So that was really, really rewarding. You know what I mean? Getting paid for something that you're really passionate about. So getting that first paycheck coming in and actually getting paid through it is super, super rewarding. And I'm sure every actor can relate to that.
How was your first experience on set?
On set, ooh, that would have been haunted hospitals. That would have been haunted hospitals. Um, Really good. It shot out in Hamilton, so I drove all the way out there. My mom drove me. I was super, super nervous. Um, and I get there, and it's a small cast. And as I'm walking in, I meet with the co-lead in the episode. It was her name was Alex. I met up with her. Got to talking. Hey, I'm Jordan. Hey, I'm here. I'm this old. You're that. I go here for. So we were kind of talking. So my nerves are kind of going down. But I've never worked with a real director before. Never done a shoot. It was also her first time shooting a TV episodic. So that was nice. But kind of getting processed, you know what I mean? I'm kind of waiting, making sure I memorize my lines because I had like 20 pages of dialogue. I'm like, oh God, gotta make sure. We started running lines, and then the PA comes and they're like, okay, we're gonna get you in wardrobe, do the whole thing. Nervous, meet the director. I was so quiet on set. Like I was too nervous to actually say anything, which isn't like they made me feel uncomfortable. It's like I was just super, super nervous. Um, but it's my first time. But I I wish I knew then that it's not that you don't got to be that nervous. It's also, I was 1 month into the program that I was in and I booked that. So I wasn't fully comfortable as an actor yet in my own kind of zone. So I felt like when I was doing the scene, I could only play it one way. I only played the scene. No, how they say, as an actor, each take should be a bit different than the last, have creative freedom, be able to take the character where you want. I didn't feel that because I was just like, oh God, what if they don't like it? What if they don't like it? So very, very nerve-wracking, but very, very grateful nonetheless. But then you learn over time, right? The more you do, the more comfortable you get.
Of course. You already talked a little bit about it, but how important is friendship and networking as a creator?
That's probably the best thing you can do. It is probably the thing that will take you the furthest. I always try and be nice to everyone, every single person you meet, even if they're not an actor or filmmaker, because one, that's just being a good human, being a good person. It's rewarding, you feel good about your acts of kindness. Then it also takes you so far too. Like Leo. Leo could be the director on the next Marvel movie, and he knows me. He's like, Jordan, do you want to do this? So something like that, he knows people and he refers me. Or if he's doing a project for school, he'll call me up. I'm the first person he calls. Very, very important. So finding the right people and kind of doing all that, saying yes to every opportunity that kind of comes your way. The best thing I could have done, I think, was last summer. I did background acting. So I couldn't find a job in the city, so I kind of had to resort to background acting. but I think it was the best thing I could have done because like I was on sets like Gen V, Ginny and Georgia, um, all the other ones. But what was really good, the day one, I met a guy named Mason. He now does photography, but he went to TFS and he knew Ansh. He put me in touch with Ansh. And then that same day on set, I met Danny, who's an alumni at the program that I just graduated from. And, we're talking. He's like, do you know this teacher? I'm like, yeah, I love this teacher, yada, 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 yada. He's like, oh, well, me and a few alumni are making a movie, a feature film, and we're getting a budget for it. And he's like, you know what? I think you could actually play one of the characters. First time I met him. So I'm like, this could go really far. That hasn't gone anywhere, I'll be honest. But it's hopefully, it's a slow process, as you know.
Yeah.
But super important. That's the thing. I met that guy, Mason, the photographer. If I didn't meet him, I wouldn't have met Ansh. And if I didn't meet Ansh or Mason, I wouldn't have met Belinda, the producer on 40 Acre or Acrefall. Then I wouldn't have met you guys, right? Then the whole project could not have been made. Yeah. So it is super important that when you get to set, even if it's a 3 a.m. call time, to get to set as a background actor where you're getting paid minimum wage for 8 hours, sometimes even 12 hours, with no overtime if you're non-union, being at every single person, be patient. Oh my God, it goes farther than you think. And then they keep calling you back too. I'm on this podcast because I met you. I had lived in time with you, and they put in good work. We collabed on that film. So you know what I mean? Like, even this is a perfect example.
Yeah.
8 months later, and we're here again.
Exactly.
After the
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, the Twitter's thing. Gerardo sent me the text. I'm like, I absolutely have to say yes to whenever it is. Yes.
Babe,
of course.
What has been for you the biggest challenge of being an actor?
I would say rejection, but I kind of knew going into it that rejection is gonna happen. So that's why every time I would just send out a self-tape and it never came back, I wouldn't take it personally. But then there are moments, and I'll give an example. This is pretty recent. I was gonna be on a TV show coming up. I actually might have been like shooting around this time, and I was really excited to do it. And then I get a call from my agent a week and a bit ago saying, hey, Jordan, the casting director just called saying, dude, the lead of the show dropped out, and now they have to go through major script rewrites, and they have to cast everybody older. So you've unfortunately, you've been written out, unfortunately. That sucks. Yeah. That stings. That's huge, because then you're like, well, damn, because I knew it wasn't personal, obviously, right? Like, I had the role. I had it for a while. It was coming up. But then that hits you, and then you're like, well, damn it. Like, here I am. Now I have nothing ongoing. Now I have no upcoming things. So, then you feel like, you feel like, you're not good enough, right? So it's the whole mental game. It's a huge mental game. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, of course. It happens all the time. Actually, our first podcast was about self-doubt and, the huge role that it plays as an actor. How do you handle it? Do you feel that you handle rejection better now than before, or still the same?
Well, yeah, like, I get it. It's the business. It's the business. My agent called, she was like, Jordan, welcome to showbiz. That's how it goes. Don't worry about it. Fortunately, there is a silver lining. The production company did say that they would pay me what I would have made as like an honorarium out of respect, which is fine. It's not about the money, but it would have been nice to be able to put it on my resume, my demo reel. Can't do that. But then again, you never know the connections. They might want to call me back.
Yeah.
Because I showed a lot of enthusiasm towards the production while I was still involved. But I don't know. I feel like, you just have to get over it. You just have to tell yourself, it's not the end of the world. And then you should always have things coming up too, right? Like, if you're writing a project, have that occupy your mind too. You know what I mean?
When did you start writing?
Oh my, probably a year ago. It would have been a year ago, because I did the film with my buddies from college called Fellas. We did Fellas that came out like a year and a day ago. And we did that film. and I wrote it. It was, because I love my friend group so much. None of them are actors except for me. But I'm like, how funny would it be if we wrote like a little short film finale for our first year together? Um, and so I was with Leo. I was pitching ideas. We're like, man, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And then we landed on an idea. And Leo was just like, okay, Jordan. He's the one that had the script. He's like, okay, Jordan, how's what should be a first line to say for our character? And he puts in a prompt, and I'm like, that was perfect. Leo, get out of the chair. I took the chair for 4 hours. I just wrote the script in 10 pages in 4 hours, wrote it, and we shot it, and everybody laughed at it. Everybody loved it. So I'm like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I like this. And then I wrote my second script, which is a feature film. I wrote it in 2 weeks. It is super long. I wish I could talk about it, but I don't. But it's one that I'm going to be sitting on for a while, but I love it. Whenever I have an idea, I just have to get it out. I have to write about it, and I can't stop. So I will literally be writing at my computer for like 6 hours a day till like 1 a.m. because I just have the ideas. I go for so long. And I just, if I have an idea, I will write it. And I know how I want it to play out. I'm not the best script writer in terms of script grammar because I haven't been taught, but I love it. And I started with Fellas, then I did that when I got inspired, and then I wrote Acre Fall because I got inspired when I went up to that farm, my buddy's farm. So yeah, like if I get the inspiration, I will write about it. And that happened last year, to answer your question. It was about a year ago,
Uh,
and I loved it.
in 40 Acre, well, you write and you were also the lead character. Do you think that writing gives you like another perspective of your character while acting, or do you kind of separate both?
Um, ooh, it's a really good question. Uh, yes, I feel like it's 100% another kind of dimension for the actor because, the actor gets the script. They, there's 100 different ways that you could read this line, right? You get a line and it's like, hi, how are you, for example. You can say that 100 different ways. You can say it mad, you can say it sad, you can say it happy. Maybe you're being sarcastic. Maybe you really hate the person, but you're trying not to show it. You can play it so many ways, so many different tactics that you can use on that line. But you don't know that until you talk to the director, or maybe you discover more about the script and the character. As the writer, I knew immediately how I wanted it to be done. I wrote it. So that already was kind of a cheat code for me as the actor because I knew how I wanted it to be played. I knew how it wanted to look. So that was a little bit of a cheat code,
Yeah.
getting around that. So I think it absolutely does because I know the entire story as the writer. I know what would happen if there was a sequel to Acre Fall. I know what would happen if there was a prequel to Acre Fall. But like an actor like you have to use your imagination because you didn't write it. So you just have to interpret and run with it as actors all have to do. But it does definitely give me a different kind of perspective in the sense that I know the full story and I know everything, right? So it's like I'm a hacker and I have my monitors here. I know everything that's going on. Whereas an actor would just have the one screen,
Yeah.
So
What is your character preparation process here?
I don't think I've ever gotten a role that was like so like huge where I like, okay, I gotta do the prep work. Okay, I'm gonna fast for 6 days because the character's skinny, you know what I mean? I haven't like had to method act for really anything. So I guess what I normally do.
Would you do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I recently did an audition for a French TV web series. And, my French used to be fluent. It used to be there, but it's gone away. But I still understand it. I can still speak it. I know. But so imagine if I were to get it, I would absolutely learn it 100%. That's actually on my bucket list. My acting bucket list is to prep for a role. To prep for a role for a long period of time. Like train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I need to put on 20 pounds of muscle, I'll do it. I really want to. But I guess my character preparation is, discovering the backstory, knowing your lines, discover the lines, and kind of just reading it a bunch of times for discovery. What am I thinking in this moment? How do I feel about this person? Those questions. Because I feel like that's all I really had to do with it. But but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different processes that I know that you can do for character work, but I felt like I never really had to per se, but I know that's coming up in my future. I'm sure like I will have to. So, um, my answer from now for another year could be hugely different.
Yeah.
You know,
With Acrefall, is there a particular day on part of the filming that stood out for you?
particular day in the filming. Holy crap! How was it? Like 4 or 5 days. It was like
Yeah.
5 days. It was long. Again, I thank you both so much for actually doing that. Thank you. Uh, who? I'm gonna ask the same question to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask the same question to you. What was the moment that stuck out most to you?
Yeah. Is that there were many, but just the sense of it was a lot of people in one house. We were there for many days, and the way that we like connected and got through it, and the professionalism was the thing that stood out more for me, and the passion
Yes.
of it. Everyone was very passionate about it.
Which is another huge thing that was really rewarding to me is like I wrote this and now I have 12 people here on this farm 2 hours north because of to all make something that I wrote and they're all as committed as I am. That was really cool. Um, but okay, so yeah, it's funny that you said it was all professional because I mean when y'all were there, I was talking to Leo and Ansh, bro. I was sweating every day. We didn't know we would make it to the end of the shoot every single day because a new prom came up. So I hope we kept that on the down low. I hope that you didn't realize how much I was freaking out.
That's good leadership from the three of you, from you, like if the people that are leading the project are passionate, I feel like you guys give that to us.
Yeah, well, we did our best, but it was really hard on me because there were times when Leo and Ansh would literally pull me aside and say, "Okay, Jordan, I see on the script today we have to do this, and this is gonna be hard. We can't do this unless you do this." And then they're like, "Jordan, this was horribly written, by the way." I'm like, you're telling me this on day 4 of 5? What are you doing? I'm like, I know, I'm not a writer. I just write, and it's fun. But they're like, this is horribly written. I'm like, oh god. Like, that's the last thing I need. My confidence just to be like tanked on day 4. Like, bro. So no, because we have our private combos like that. But a particular day, gosh, that stood out. They all did. They were all like equally as stressful
Yeah.
and scary. I don't know. Probably the nighttime day. That was really really hard. There was a lot of improvisation. There's a scene in the cabin. Gerardo knows because he was in it. Okay, how much can I say? Yes, it's in the trailer where I bust out of the barn door. That you'll see, but that entire shot was just entirely improvised because we can do my original plan. So I guess having to do those quick adjustments at night and having to really like there was so much and there was a curfew, right, for the neighbors.
Oh yeah.
So we had to wait for nightfall, and then we had maybe 4 hours of nighttime, and we had like 3 different scenes to shoot in 4 hours, which is very very hard. So that night, man, I can't stop. I have nightmares about that night, man.
How to do it something like that again?
Absolutely. It's the craft. You have to. That's if you're not freaking out and stressed about it. And having private meetings where you're getting bashed on your screenwriting, like, are you even doing it right? So I'm saying, would you ever do that?
Yeah.
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 That was fun. Do you write?
Not much though.
Okay.
I should get into more.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a good time.
It's also good for actors, like you write your own stuff, you act on
You act-
it, promote yourself.
Exactly. I mean, you can't necessarily wait around that much, so might as well make your own opportunities. My goal for this summer is to write a web series and pitch it to Bell. Pitch it to them and see.
And there's so many opportunities out there,
A lot of opportunities, but I want to dip my toes into the pitching area because I think that's going to be really helpful. If you can learn how to pitch
Yeah.
to a proper production house, that could be a huge kind of, then I won't be nervous the next time. Maybe, connections, who knows?
Yeah.
So that's my goal with that.
What's the thing you're the proudest of?
God. Oof. I mean, I feel very lucky because I just graduated from college, and I think it's still starting to hit me because for the first time in my life, I'm not in school and I don't have a path paved out for me. So I could say I'm proud that I graduated and done with school. I finished school unless I choose to go back. Um, Very proud that I came out of it with a very loving girlfriend, you know? Very proud that I have been able to get all the roles and the gigs that I've done. Very, very proud that I've been able to meet the lovely people like yourselves and make all those connections and everything. Um, as a proudest moment, for starting my own business or something like that, you know, I'm very proud of so many things that it's kind of hard to say what I'm most proud of. Um, you know, I can go for the sappy answer and say that like I'm proud that I've maintained all those connections, you know, no matter how much like my mental health kind of, you know, went like up and down this whole year, that I was still able to, you know, be a nice person to everyone. I was still able to, you know, keep that integrity and yeah, keeping all those people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there any role that you did that stood out for you, like is still there with you?
Yeah. Ooh. I have to say the one that was deepest to me, I played Eli in the film called Destiny. It's not out, but I promoted it all over my Instagram. It's the one with the big portal on. Cause that one I was the lead. I was the lead for that film, and it was like in terms of like the scale of the project, it's probably been my biggest this time, because in the entire film played in front of this giant event in front of 1,000 people in the Toronto Metro Convention Center. So it was pretty huge. And I didn't realize the weight that the lead role was kind of carrying, because it was he's a symbol about, the character was a lead symbol about destiny and hope. And, you know, the whole message was like, it's okay not to know where you're going because your destiny's written for you and you just got to trust the process. That's kind of what the message was. And to be the symbol of that was pretty, you know, it was pressure. Um, but I loved it. So going back to what I said about haunted hospitals, about how I didn't feel like I was able to be my own actor and choose how I wanted to do it and have my own creative freedom. That was the first role where I had it, and then I'm like, I'm gonna try it this way. You know, I'm gonna try it this way. Worst the director can say, and the director was amazing. Zach Raymond was like one of the best human beings, so I felt very comfortable to do it around him. But I'm like, okay, I can do it this way. Maybe I'll do it this way too. I felt very, very natural. So that was a big milestone for me to take that step to be my own kind of actor, and it was that role, which was very, very nice. Um, and that was really, really cool. And also, I think the CGI portal was really, really cool. I love that. I love that. Um, and yeah, you know what's fun? They let me keep the wardrobe on that. I love them when they let me keep my wardrobe. It's amazing. I recently did a feature film, and they let me keep the my character wore a bomber jacket, and I wear it like it's my regular outdoor fit. It's awesome. So if you can steal wardrobe whenever you can, it's also a nice like remembrance thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm literally taking the character literally stays with me because I carry the wardrobe wherever, right? Yeah. So yeah, but I have to say it's that role.
Look.
That role.
Well, finally, where can we find you? Social media, your business, Dream to.
Yes, so the Instagram for me is Jordan.Belliveau. The Dream the Screen, it's plugged right in my bio. It's also Dream the Screen Studios too, because we also do studios. We throw our
Why the two?
sorry,
Studios two?
Dream Studios. Yeah, Dream the Screen Studios. We like to, it's like a production company as well, because we slap our company name onto Acrefall. We did it on Othello's. We did it onto Leo put out a film called Stars that has Dream the Screen on it too. So we try and kind of get around as much as we can. So Dream the Screen Studios, Jordan.Belliveau on Instagram. And yeah, if you ever need coaching or headshots or a demo reel,
No.
I'm right here. I'm right here, very low price, because, you know, I don't believe in actors having to pay hundreds of dollars to start.
Yeah.
You know? So I just want to help out the little actor that's trying to get their foot in the door. So that's my dream.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
Thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, so much fun.